So when they go to the nightclub, they don't need to ask the girls to dance because the girls are standing in line. I say to them, you need to have a product which is good enough that if all the marketing was closed tomorrow morning, Facebook is banned, Google is banned, AdWords is banned, it's all banned, that you still are competitive without the support of advertising and marketing. If that is the problem, then it's not enough to sell lawnmowers. You need to sell artificial grass. The average small business in the European Union only lives for 7 years, 83 months. That's it. The average person lives 80 years.
Garrett, lovely to meet you. One of my colleagues, his name is Levs. He introduced me to you, so kudos to him. First thing I wanted to cover, what are some of the companies you have personally worked with, and what are some of the key case studies or results you have helped them to achieve?
Okay. Well, for your listeners, before I go into companies, I should say very shortly what we do for them. Because if what we do is not interesting, then the companies are not interesting. So what do? We deal with a very painful problem. And the painful problem that we deal with is that small and medium enterprises throughout Eurasia, from Vietnam to Dublin, they have very short lives. You have genocide of SME companies. Most do not survive, whether it's startups or more classical small to medium enterprises with no global ambition. We researched this for many, many years, and we came to the conclusion the reason they die early is because they have no differentiation. Their differentiation is zero. What does that mean? It doesn't just mean that they provide an undifferentiated result. They provide an undifferentiated result for an uninteresting problem. Both. It's a double whammy. So we figured out the problem is not that they have the wrong strategies. Normally, they have the right strategies. They have the wrong ideology. They have the wrong mission and vision, or they have no mission and vision. And their strategy is the right answer to the wrong question. So, for example, in Switzerland, we worked with one of the mobile operators, and we figured out that what he needs to do is not selling SIM cards and tariff plans. What he needs to do is to address the digital competitiveness of his customers, 360 degrees. That means if you come into the store and you're a doctor, one of the questions we ask now is, what's your profession? You're a doctor. We have a complete mobile solution for a doctor, which includes basic phones, tablets, internet connection, mobile connection. But on top of that, we have diagnostic tools that clip to the mobile phone to make the doctor mobile. We have medical CRM, right? We choose applications from the 5 million app store that are specifically interesting for a German-speaking oncologist, and so on and so forth, okay? But we've done that because we changed the mission statement of this operator to reflect a mission of total digital competitiveness for subscribers. So basically what we do is we help companies to develop a purpose, a mission and a vision and ambition and culture that drive the strategy to execute against them. Because our finding is that most companies are great answers, including startups, by the way, right? Are great answers to boring questions, not interesting, right? So that's what we do. We bring ideology to strategy. What we say is that we create the strategy behind the strategies for many, many companies. Now, you asked which companies we work for. We have, so you should understand, when we go into a company, right, we have a 9-stage process to build this mission and vision statement. And we start with archaeology and history, anthropology. Those we go in and we want to understand where did this company come from? What was the original idea? How has the company evolved? So we have very, very deep and searching conversations with the founder or the investment committee and the key team members. Where have we come from? What is our DNA? Right. And these are, so we have very intimate knowledge of the customers that we work for. So far, we have not been able to persuade a single customer to be a case study. Our contracts with customers, our consulting contracts, have NDAs to the never end.
Okay.
So I can't tell you, what I can tell you is that it's a Swiss mobile operator. I can tell you it's a Finnish petrol station operator.
Okay.
I can tell you it's a Vietnamese bank, but I can't tell you the names, unfortunately. But I can tell you what we did and how it works.
Okay, cool. We're going to cover also, I'm going to share my company's vision statement, mission statement, and you're going to give me feedback on that, but that's in a second. What have you seen that many Eastern Europe, and I want to keep it like specifically for Eastern Europe, such as the Baltics, such as Scandinavia, such as Ukraine, I guess, like these countries, Poland also, right? Where should we look for inspiration or innovation? Because the typical paradigm is we look at USA to get ideas for the future, etc. Like, what is your thinking about this specifically?
Well, first of all, I don't think that the USA does any better than Latvia or Lithuania or Estonia on these. So I don't think the USA is necessarily the home of world-class missions and visions. What is the home of world-class mission and vision statements tends to be the startup companies that get backing from premier venture capital firms. But that could be in China, it could be in Sweden, it could be in Berlin. It's not necessarily the United States. And there isn't necessarily a source of best practice. So there are many industries where no company has a compelling vision and mission statement. So, for example, the cement category, which I just looked at last week, there isn't a company, even Holcim, in the cement business that has an inspiring mission and vision statement. There was one in Mexico in the 1960s, Cemex, and their vision and mission was rather than just selling cement, they would sell a home in a box with the cement, the bricks, the roof, the tiles, the cables. Because in Mexico, the tradition is that when the girl marries the boy, the girl's parents provide the home. But to have Mexico is a very densely populated country. People forget, right? The Mexican population is almost the population of Russia or Indonesia. It's a big place, but a small territory. So buying a home is expensive. So this company came up with a way to democratize home ownership. And that was their mission. But they got bought out. They got bought out many years ago. But that was the last company in the cement business that had a compelling mission and vision statement that added value to the customers and to the company in a very, very sustainable way.
Got it.
Because it solves a problem. I mean, in 100 years from now in Mexico, there will still be a housing shortage. That problem is not going to go away. It's an interesting problem that they solve. So I wouldn't say that there is a specific source of best practice to look at. And more often than not, because I work with companies, I have more than 50 different experience in more than 50 different verticals. So everything from chocolate manufacturers to mobile operators to, to language schools. I mean, you name it, B2B, B2C, B2C to B, B2B to C, X to X, platform, even blockchain. So I can see that quite often the inspiration we get to work with a Vietnamese bank, for example, it comes from a Brazilian insurance company. It's a certain kind of attitude. So, for example, we did work in Kazakhstan this summer, actually, with one of the largest optical chains. And what we saw is that the opportunity in Kazakhstan is to democratize multi-sensory perception. So not just work with the eyes, work with the hearing, the smell, the touch, work with multi-sensory, and to build the business as the multi-sensory service provider for today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow. That's where the biggest opportunity is.
So you have a lot of experience in different fields. What do you feel is kind of the biggest thing small, medium businesses or micro businesses should focus on to grow faster?
I would say that they need to have a very clear understanding of what we call the JTBD, the customer job to be done. because I would even say in most cases, what the customer is looking to achieve is not necessarily what the company is providing. So my advice to any small business would be to double, triple, and quadruple check what is it your customer is actually trying to do. It's the old story with the drill and the hole. The customer doesn't want to buy a drill. He wants to buy a hanging picture. He's not interested in the drill. Yeah, exactly. So, and often the mistake is that people focus on an intermediate outcome rather than a final outcome. So those interviews, which can be done very cheaply, by the way. I mean, there are plenty of books available on Kindle which give you a step-by-step introduction to conducting a customer JTBD interview. I think that is the one practical instrument.
But what do you do when you have that information? Like, okay, let's say a company hears this, they're like, okay, we're gonna do that stuff. And then what would be the next step? Changing the product, changing the marketing. What would be the next step after that? So I have that information.
No. The first, not the next step, but the first step is to understand the answer to the question: what is the customer ultimately trying to achieve? What is the KPI from the customer's perspective? And that's mostly absolutely not obvious. So there's a very famous case. There's a very famous case. It's not my case, but there's a very famous case with McDonald's, where McDonald's experienced very high sales of milkshakes in the morning. And they couldn't understand why. But they thought, well, let's monetize this demand and let's start offering extra type of milkshake with extra toppings and maybe promotions and so on. And the business stayed high, but it didn't get any higher and it didn't get any lower. And they couldn't figure out how to monetize this counterintuitive morning demand burst. And so they make what we call JTBD interviews. It's a structured, very simple interview process with customers, which teases out like your rabbits from the hat. Like it pulls from the customer, like the rabbit from the hat. It pulls, I'm just using your language. Yeah. It pulls from the customer's mind, like rabbits from a hat. What is it the customer really wants to achieve? And in the case of McDonald's, what the customer really wanted to achieve was to be able to have breakfast behind the wheel, to be able to drive and enjoy breakfast. And the killer application was to provide cup holders in the cars, because most cars, and this is from the 1970s, cars didn't have cup holders. They provided a stick-on cup holder, and they boosted their demand several times because they understood the hot button was breakfast behind the wheel. It wasn't the milkshake itself.
Okay, that's interesting. I like that. That's a great example.
Right, and basically that breakfast behind the wheel is a more visionary statement, and the milkshake is a here and now product statement. So in a way, what we do at macro level is we aggregate what is it our customers would like to achieve strategically. And who do we want our customers to become? Because why is this important? Let me just explain something to you. So I do work, as I said, across a wide range of countries. Some of the countries I do work in, like Switzerland, the cost of money, like the interest rate of the central bank, is like 2 or 3%. Or places like Vietnam or Kazakhstan, where it's like 20+%, right? And everything in between. So in countries where you have a low cost of money like Switzerland, you have a long planning horizon. Because if you take 100 and divide by 2 or 3, that gives you a planning horizon of 30 to 50 years. If you think about the life cycle of a finance, right? So if the cost of money is 2%, you're looking at a multi-decade planning horizon. If the cost of money is 25%, you're looking at 4 years, 3 years, but not decades. Okay, so I've done a lot of work in countries where my customers have long planning horizons. So I know from experience which of the strategic planning models, the so-called long-term models, or they call them in French actually, modèle de longue durée, which of those models is the one that reflects reality the best. And the one that reflects reality the best is what's called the Kondratiev models. And the Kondratiev models, or the Kondratiev technological waves, are a way to describe the industrial world of the last 300 years. And according to Kondratjev's model, which works, and lots of big insurance companies, by the way, use it as the basis for their risk and reward pricing algorithms. According to that, can you hear me?
Yeah. Of course.
Okay, it stopped for a second. According to that model, we are now, the human race, moving from the fifth to the sixth technology wave. We're in between them. And the fifth technology wave was all about information technologies and automation, AI, and so on. The sixth is all about people. It's all about the holistic development of the person, right? And the key industries are healthcare in the widest sense and education in the widest sense, because they're both human-centric businesses, industries, but almost by definition. And all the other industries are starting to look like those two industries. So banks, for example. So the bank is increasingly looks like a financial healthcare institution, not just a bank. Mm. So its job is to make you wealthier sustainably, not just to sell you products and services. So the fastest growing bank in the United States in the second quarter of this year, which is SoFi, SoFi, in San Francisco, it just passed 10 million subscribers. Their mission, I didn't work with them, but their mission is very interesting. It is total financial independence for each of our members. So it's a bank that provides like private banking services, democratized. So literally they deal with your investments, your pension, your savings, your credits, your debits, your borrowings, your incomes, your outgoings, your insurance, your protection, your kids, the whole 9 yards. And you can see this happening. You can see the retailers starting to educate their customers. You can see basically every business becoming what I would call more customer-centric. And that sixth technology wave that we're now entering is all about customer centricity. So not only do we look to provide mission and vision, so ideological competitiveness, but we look to do it in a way that is centric to the customers. So that's why in Switzerland, we said, not just selling something to somebody, but making our customers cool. Making customers great makes great customers. That's our how to say, our byline.
I like that. That's a good one. I didn't. Okay, that's a good one. I like that.
Making customers great makes great customers. Yeah.
So I think I could share with you kind of my mission and vision statement for the company. A side note about the company: 15 team members doing approximately $1 million a year in euros, a little bit above, for the last 2 years. Our mission statement is making client acquisition easy and predictable. We work with service providers, mostly online service providers or just like service providers. And the vision statement, I didn't come up with like we connect customers to the product. I came up with something more tangible, which I see as inspiring to myself personally. And it is to work with 100,000 businesses as customers and provide and help our customers to generate 100 billion. That was my kind of, I know like a typical vision statement is definitely not like that, but that I found for myself personally inspiring. So that's what I kind of went with. And now the question is, what do you think about it? Basically, what do you think about it? Or what should I change? Or
Okay. So before I answer, what I want to say to you is that because of artificial intelligence, we will reach a situation by 2030 where the job of the marketer is not how to sell something, but what to make, not how to sell it. So we're entering a period in time where if the product is shit, it will not sell.
Yeah.
Right? And I see many examples of companies with shit products, but very good marketing. So, and people buy the products, but they don't buy a second time, but they buy the first time. So I see this a lot. So my question to you, in order to answer your question, is if I am a service provider, a consultant in Riga, let's say, or Ventspils or wherever in Tallinn, right? And my product is not very good. I mean, it's at best okay. it's a nothing burger, nothing special. Will you take that customer and try to make him look like something he isn't? Or will you tell him, sorry, we can't work with you because we don't want to work with products that aren't already competitive? So that's my question. Are you a beauty salon, or are you a transformational changer? Where's your role? Because just helping them to sell, they need to be good. And if they are good, then they will sell. So do you help them to be good, or do you help them to be sellable?
So in my situation, if they want to work with us and they want to have more customers, we will try our best to help them. So we are the second option, which you said. So for sure, we would take them on. We're not, yeah.
Okay. So for example, if you take me on, and I'm a consultant in Tallinn, and I'm working with, I don't know, let's say the Chinese market. And I don't even have a Chinese language website. I don't have Chinese language descriptions. I don't have Chinese language copy. Will you say to me, hey, we will help you, but your strategy sucks?
In that case, no. That's a crazy example, but no, that would of course not.
Okay, so that would be my only issue with your mission, is that it needs to be to make it long-term sustainable, so that we can have this conversation in 2035.
Yeah.
Right? I think that your business needs to help your clients' value propositions to become more compelling as part of the process of attracting customers.
So making basically our vision could be making customers great, something similar, right?
Yes. So rather than being just lead generation, you convert your customers into automatically lead generated. You make them attractive. You help them to become. So when they go to the nightclub, they don't need to ask the girls to dance, because the girls are standing in line. Because the guy
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, the guy is obviously beautiful.
Yeah, so making the customer other things, not just creating a demand for them with marketing, which creates leads, right?
Well, obviously, nobody cancels the lead generation. You need lead generation anyway. What I'm saying is that working with your clients, not just on generating leads, but on helping them to build products that sell themselves.
Okay, understand. Okay.
Because you need that. Because look, in 4 years, maybe 5 years from now, at least in Ireland, I don't know about Latvia, but in Ireland, every adult will have an AI assistant, a supercomputer in his pocket that he pays a monthly fee for. And the job of that supercomputer is the excellence of that customer, that customer gets the best of everything. So if the customer wants to buy shoes, the AI will scan billions of shoes to figure out which shoes are the best for the customer, not who has the best advertising, which shoes, how they look, how they feel, occupation, leather, running costs, compatibility with wardrobe, like 360 degrees, which shoes, which car, which bank account, which credit card, which whatever is the best for my customer. And in that atmosphere, advertising doesn't really work anymore, because those AIs, they don't listen to advertising. Their job is to find the best solution for the customer. Full stop.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
No, it's not an idea. This is happening. It's a trend. What I'm saying to you is that by 2030, if you have a shit product and great marketing, you're dead.
Don't you think it will be also something like, have you heard about this Honey app? This scandal, what happened with Honey?
Yes.
You have heard about it. Yeah. So I'm thinking maybe with AI tools, the same thing can apply. So marketers or companies will bid.
It can. But what you have to remember, the way the advertising model works is that the Google and Facebook, all these marketplaces, they pull revenue from the sellers to subsidize the buyers.
Yeah.
So you get a free. So if I ask my AI, which toothpaste should I use? He will look at everything and say, this brand from India suits you for all these reasons. If I go to Facebook or Google or Amazon, I say toothpaste, they don't care what I need. They'll give me the toothpaste they get the biggest commission for. Do you see what I mean?
I know,
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. So all that world of marketplaces and that's all going to go away. I'm not saying it disappears tomorrow, but the Web3, the blockchain, and in Latvia, you have a brilliant organization for blockchain, which wants to make Riga the Web3, the decentralized internet capital of Europe. So these individual AI assistants and the blockchain, these are very related concepts. Okay.
We're back online. Let's go. No problem. No issue.
Okay.
We left at Web 3.0 in Latvia. Something's going to develop.
Well, you have, in my opinion, Europe's best blockchain association. It's even better than the Swiss one. Really top people working together with Riga University. Some great white papers, but that's not my point. My point is that by 2030, you will have a world where products that are not really, really, really good will not survive. And marketing and influencing and advertising will not help. So the product has got to be. This is how I already work with my clients now. I say to them, you need to have a product which is good enough that if all the marketing was closed tomorrow morning, Facebook is banned, Google is banned, AdWords is banned, it's all banned for this or that reason. Trump, who knows, right? Banned, that you still are competitive without the support of advertising and marketing, that your product is top. And so my response to you is that your concept is great. I looked at the site, Sharpify. It's really, really good. The question is, how good does it need to be to survive through 2030, to survive the blockchain era? And to survive the blockchain era, it has to help clients to make products and services that are cool, really, really good.
What do you think about my idea? So in approximately 15 days, we're launching our SaaS service, which will be for people with that. We're going to give them basically sales agents with customer support and outreach plus. Whenever a lead gets created with marketing, that we have an automated agent that basically communicates with that lead on WhatsApp 24/7, 365, and sets appointments for experts, consultants, service providers. What do you think about that pivoting kind of idea? Do you like it? Don't like it?
Yes, I do like it, because most entrepreneurs don't like selling, actually, in my opinion, and they're not very good at it. And if they can outsource the entire lead generation piece, including the follow-ups and the sales cycle, if they can do that as for a predictable monthly fee, I think that the uptake on that will be high.
Cool, I like it. Because
but basically, my feedback, Nick, is your business idea is perfect for 2025.
Yeah,
but for 2030, there are issues about adding to it. So rather than just helping the customers to sell, helping them to build products that sell themselves. That would be my.
Yeah, that's a bigger problem. That's what you said in some interviews. Like, need to find bigger problems, like the real problems.
Yes.
So I would really love us to.
They may not be bigger problems, but they're longer problems. They're problems that last for longer. Look, I had a customer in Holland, Netherlands, a distributor of lawnmowers, right? And this was years ago, right? He was one of my first customers, actually. When I went out, I've been with my self-employed since 2015. He was one of my first customers in Holland. And the guy is a distributor and retailer of lawnmowers. And what do we do with the business? And I said, well, what's the problem people are trying to solve? And the problem is that people want a beautiful lawn, a beautiful garden. Okay.
Okay.
But I said, if that is the problem, then it's not enough to sell lawnmowers. You need to sell artificial grass. You need to sell, no, I'm serious. You need to sell genetically modified grass seeds where the grass never grows more than 2 centimeters, grass that doesn't need to be cut. Because the objective is not the cutting of the grass, but the outcome. And you see, the outcome will last for hundreds of years. Like 200 years from now in Amsterdam and Den Haag and Utrecht, people will want beautiful gardens. But will the lawnmower be the technology to achieve that, or will it be something else? Who knows? We stay open, no? So we focus on the outcome. And the outcome for me, for you, is to help your customers drive leads. And the question then is, which technologies? I'm saying you will need to add a technology or a service element that ensures that the underlying product or service of your client is competitive. That's my
I love the thinking. I love that thinking. By the way, so just you said also from 2015 you are also self-employed.
Yes.
The business is basically consulting.
Yes.
And I would love you to kind of share some of the behind the scenes, such as what were your kind of steps of getting your first customer? How are you selling? How are you pricing your services? What are some advice you would give some people who are also as an expert, consultant, coach? What would be some advice for those people and how to get your first customer?
Okay, so my first customer was my employer. I went out to Latin America. I went out with actually he's the richest man in Ireland, Dennis O'Brien, in 2014. And Dennis O'Brien has telecom operators all over the Caribbean. So Jamaica, Haiti, Bahamas, all these Turks and Caicos, lots of little micro countries. And my job was, or one of my jobs, was to go to Central America, go to Nicaragua, Guatemala, El Salvador, because I'm Spanish speaking, right? I work in 8 languages, by the way. But I'm also Spanish speaking. And in El Salvador, it's a very special country because they're very entrepreneurial people. El Salvador people go to America, Canada, they get great ideas, and then they bring them to Latin America via El Salvador. So I started to talk to all the local entrepreneurs. One guy said, I have this amazing Vancouver Korean pizza franchise, spicy pizza. And I want to bring it to Chile, to Venezuela, Chile, Colombia, Paraguay, Uruguay, Argentina. And I worked with him. Then another guy had a business for kindergartens, multilingual kindergartens. He wanted to do it in Brazil. And I realized it's much more fun for me to work with 10 different entrepreneurs in 5 different languages, in 10 different countries, in 15 different industries, than to work for one company, even as a vice president. I was a vice president, to work for one company in one industry in one language. So I said to my employer, I'm sorry, Dennis, but I'm leaving. And his reaction was, well, then can I become your customer? So he was actually my ex-employer. And I think it's like that for a lot of startuppers. My ex-employer paid me enough money to give me time to find other customers. Then I opened an office in Dublin. Then I opened an office, this was before the Ukraine war, in Moscow. Then I opened an office in Zurich. This is how I grew. And my way, so this may surprise you, I don't do any active selling at all. My leads come through a network of people who've already worked with me. So when I work for a customer and he's delighted, I say, okay, please recommend me to 5 other companies who have the same, that the people that have this same issue. They have no ideological fundamental differentiation, and bring me in. And I work in English, French, German, Spanish, Italian, Russian, Dutch, all of them. So I'm very, very international.
And what is your pricing? Because the product is basically you, right? That's kind of one of the components.
I have a research team, but yes, the product is basically me. So the way I sell this is I sell it as a strategy session. It's a 2-month process.
2-month process.
As I said, a 2-month process of 9 steps. And the final culminating step is a session with the top management team of the company where we basically have a battle. They prepare their idea for mission, vision, ambition, culture, strategy, tactics, technologies. I have a standard format. They prepare. I prepare. And we come in and they present their model and I am the sparring partner. I box with them. Then we swap places. I present my thinking and they criticize. And then we synthesize. And sometimes we don't change the mission and vision. We leave it as it is, but we totally change the way it's executed. Sometimes we change the mission and vision. Sometimes there is no mission and vision. It has to be created from zero. Right? So it's very, very different outcomes. And for that service, depending on the size of the company, because many of my customers, like in Switzerland, you have a Swiss business, you have a German business, you have an Austrian business, they're all different, right? So depending on the complexity, if it's a single industry, single country customer, typically 30,000 to 35,000 euro. If it's a monthly, if it's a multi-industry, multi-country, multinational client, then our business model is that we charge once to do the entire package. And then we have a separate service where I can join the board of directors or I can join the advisory board to monitor the implementation of this new ideological differentiation platform and strategy, because we have to execute, right?
For those of you who are watching and they're thinking, wow, Garrett is charging 30,000 for his services. What were the steps of you getting to that level of price? Did you start at it from the first day, or what kind of was your kind of growth or changes as you go on?
We've had the same. Okay, it was 25,000 for the basic package. We increased it, but basically that's been the pricing from 2015. It hasn't really changed. I also get asked to do public speaking about topics like AI, because I work a lot with AI, or about marketing in general, because I worked for 30 years as a marketer before I went out on my. I worked for 20 years as a marketer before I went out on my own. So I get asked, and because I speak lots of languages, I get asked to do master classes and corporate presentations and so on in various languages. But by the way, that's a very small part. That's about 2% of my income.
Okay, but how do you sell it? You just like they reach out to you. You're like, yeah, I can help you. It's 30K. Send me the wire.
They reach out to me. I'm on the books of a lot of speakers, bureaus, and things like that. That's for public speaking. And for my main business, it's 100% the network of existing customers that recommend me to new customers. 100%. So I don't do any active selling at all. And if I did do active selling, I would run out of capacity because I don't have enough supply capacity to do more work than I'm doing. I'm booked out until the end of 2025. I don't. Now, you might ask, why don't I scale? And the answer is, my mission statement, my vision, is that I don't grow in quantity, I grow in quality. Every job I do is significantly better than the one before. But I have no ambition to serve thousands of customers. I want to stay like a Swiss watchmaker who makes beautiful watches, 1 per month, not 2 per month. And it makes enough money to make that interesting. But basically, I do what I love, and I love what I do. My scale ambitions are all about quality. They are not about quantity at all, which for many entrepreneurs is like, well, that's really weird. But I tell you another thing, because of the AI revolution, what it means to be an entrepreneur is also changing. And I'll tell you very precisely what I mean. Up to now, let's say for the last several hundred years, since the industrial revolution or even the pre-industrial revolution started, to be an entrepreneur is to have a talent to make money. Okay? And what I'm going to say to you now is that the talent to make money will no longer be required. AI can do making money models much better than any human being. So the entrepreneur who is good at making money will no longer be needed in the 30s. We don't need entrepreneurs who are good at making money. We need entrepreneurs who are good at making people good. We need entrepreneurs who make the world better. There will be no tolerance for entrepreneurs who are greedy shits. They're not needed. Their net contribution to humanity is small. Why would we need people who are good at making money? We don't. So it's very important to understand how enormous the changes in the next 3 to 5 years are going to be. I don't mean economic or financial, that also, but what's socially acceptable is going to change. It will not be socially acceptable to be an entrepreneur who just makes loads of money.
How to prepare?
It won't work.
What would be your advice to kind of
how to prepare for that? It's to understand for yourself what will be written on when I die. What will be written on my gravestone? Here lies Garrett Johnston, who made EBITDA margin 30%, or here lies Garrett Johnston, who revolutionized Chinese language learning in Ireland. Is it something you can be proud of? Not just making money. You know, if you die, will anybody else care?
It's hard, I guess. You know? It's not so easy to do that, right?
I didn't say it's easy. Not at all. But I'm just saying that people who are good at making money will not be competitive in the 2030s. It will cease to be a factor of competitive advantage, the ability to make money. The ability to create beauty will remain a competitive advantage.
Don't you think that statement is kind of not true? Because those people who do make money and know how to make money, they provide the most value in the marketplace, right? So it's kind of contradicting. They actually are producing value. That's how they are making money. Because scamming people is, like you can't do it long term. You can just maybe do it like once.
Yeah, but tell me this. If I go to Facebook and I say, give me toothpaste, and he gives me the toothpaste that the guy who pays him a big commission, is that scamming? I think so. I mean, I'm being manipulated, right?
Yeah,
so
it's like
it's scamming. I'm just saying that you have algorithms coming on the market that will not allow people to do that. I'm not saying that we stop making money. What I'm saying is that the entrepreneur who makes money, it will be a side effect. He makes money because he makes beautiful products, and he doesn't make beautiful products because he makes money. So it's the making money will be the side effect, not the beauty. Today, the beautiful product is the side effect, and not always, by the way.
Okay, I just think it's like always as the side effect, because money is the outcome, and inputs or the thing you do or the thing you produce or the service or the product, that is the thing that makes the money. So it's like, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, well, I guess what I'm saying is that making lots of money will not be the final outcome, will not be the point of, it won't be a strong enough ultimate objective. And simply because, making money, buying and selling and arbitraging and so on, computers can do this. I know because I work with these algorithms every day. Computers already can do this, much better than human beings can do it. But what computers can't do is they can't dream. They can't be creative genuinely. I'm not talking about large language models making Joe Biden in a pink dress, right? I'm talking about breakthrough creativity. The algorithms can't do that. And if we get an algorithm that can do that, then we are all finished. That will be the last invention humanity ever makes.
Let me ask you this. I think this could be an interesting thinking or question. Do you believe you could basically service every customer as they wanted to, 100%, while still doing one-on-one everyone. But do you believe you could service everyone 100%, that they will be satisfied all the time? Do you believe that? Yes or no? What do you think?
You mean my customers or
let's say you have 1,000 let's say 200 customers from today to like, I don't know, like 10 years. But do you believe you could service or satisfy them all 100%?
No.
Yeah, I also think so.
I don't.
I also think so.
But what I do believe is that I can serve them better the more I work with other customers, because the learnings you get from between industries, as I said, something that works for a Brazilian insurance company, a brilliant insight. You take it and you apply it to a car hire company in Poland, and it works.
Yeah, agree.
So I guess our competitive advantage is that we see so many industries, so many countries, so many contacts. We see companies that are 5 minutes from bankruptcy, but we also see companies that are doing really, really well. So we have this enormous range of client situations that we deal with. So my objective would be to serve the customers better every year, but 100%, I think it's not realistic.
Yeah. So I also no. Because I think many times I remember when I was also like alone, and now I have maybe some team members who are helping me. I also was, trying my best, but I kind of had this realization that whatever I do, just 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 20 was always with something was problem. Doesn't matter if I did maybe in my opinion I did a good job, but maybe it wasn't a good job. But okay, not about that. If people who are watching, they would love to also build a business in a consulting space, what would be the kind of trends or niches you would recommend or think, okay, this is a good idea, a good thing, or how would you help people to find where they want to, focus on or go more deep in?
Okay, so in my experience, the vast majority of consultants are not well differentiated.
Yes. How to do that?
Right. So typically it's because they don't have a niche capability which sets them aside from the others. So for example, in Ireland, I can say to even small Irish companies, I can say whether you're working in Holland or Kazakhstan or Vietnam or Saudi Arabia or France or Italy, it doesn't matter. I have the multicultural skills, the languages, the knowledge of these markets. I can help you. Whereas all my Irish competitors, I have competitors, the other strategy consultants, they only speak English. They know the US and Canada, UK, Ireland, the English-speaking world. They know that quite well. And beyond that, they don't know. Not only they don't know that they don't know. They don't know what they're missing. Because they're not multicultural, they're not multilingual. So my niche is not just that I do mission and vision, where my competitors only do strategy. I do ideology and strategy, but I also do it in multiple languages, in multiple cultures. And my competitors are all, we speak English. That's it.
Okay.
So my advice is to make sure that you have capabilities that are relatively unique, not just valuable, but also relatively unique. So, for example, Latvia. In Latvia, I don't know if you know this, there's a Chinese property development company building in Riga, one of the most advanced mixed-use developments in the world. It's happening in Riga. I think they already started.
It's waterfront, you mean?
Yes, I think it's on the. Anyway, it's a very special company and it's a very special development. Have a closer look at it. But my point is that there's quite a lot of business between Latvia and China, but I don't see any Latvian business consultants who are experts in China and working with Chinese people.
Yeah, I agree. Probably. Right? I also haven't seen anyone.
Yeah. So and if there is nobody, then become that expert. Learn Chinese. Acquire an extra skill that sets you apart from the crowd. We know what the trends are. We know that there is the BRICS trend. So we know that China is going to be important. We know that India is going to be important. So let's acquire skills for those languages, because for sure, Latvia and Lithuania and Estonia, it's a very good meeting point between the East and the West. And if you're based in the Baltic states...
Is it enough? Like, I totally agree with you that you need to be different, new, unique in your marketplace. Do you think it's enough to add a mechanism of how you provide the result, such as we improve high performance in your team using flow as a methodology, or, like this kind of method of doing or mechanism? Do you think that is enough? And I think you also use it. I think you also use it.
I do. I think it's enough to survive, but I don't think it's enough to thrive. So I'm distinguishing between purely surviving and thriving. So to survive, you obviously need to have some unique USP, product feature, whatever, right? But it's not enough. You need to have 2 or 3 points of key differentiation. I would say the one I see in the Baltic states, for sure, it's the Asian markets, so BRICS, basically. And the second thing I see in the Baltic countries is that customer service in retail, in hotels, in banks, in the Baltic states is not very good.
It's definitely not. I will 100% agree. I was in Hong Kong. There is, oh my days, how they treat you as a hotel customer. Crazy.
Yes. Yeah. So maybe that if you want to distinguish yourself in the Baltic markets, so to be the consultant who is fixated not on his client, but on the clients of his client. So helping his client to serve their clients better.
Got it.
So for example, if you walk into SCB, which I think is the biggest bank in the Baltic states, Svenska Enskilda Banken, SCB, right? You go in there, they're just selling products. They're good products. I'm not saying they're bad, but it's very product driven. It's not customer centric at all. The same with the retailers. What's it called? Remi or
Maxima or Lidl.
I haven't been to Lidl in I work with Lidl, but I haven't been to Lidl in Latvia yet. But it's a very poor customer experience, very basic customer experience compared to the top customer experiences out there. So for financial
like Sky
services,
in Latvia, I guess Sky is more premium, or Stockmann. Those are more premium retailers.
Yeah, but the problem is that Stockmann comes from Finland and Sky comes from the UK. But I don't see much that is born in Latvia. It's
like LV. Service. I think LV is in Latvia, and top there's like 2 companies, both are Latvians. Yeah. Like, I want to know, how do you think about, or what would be your tips or tricks or ideas or helpful advice to delight your consulting clients? So let's say you're doing consulting for them, how to delight them. Any advice on that?
I think the best way to delight them is to show them how to delight their customers. Okay. Quite literally.
Okay.
Yeah. So the best way to delight the sniper is to show him how to kill the most valuable birds.
Okay.
Right. Literally, that's. I always look at the customer's customer. That's the key to it. So delighting the customer of your customer, the client of your client. If you can help them to do that, it might be something very practical. It might be something very small, but if you can help them to do that, it really makes a difference. So I'll give you an example, right?
Okay.
I did work with one of the major Scandinavian operators of petrol stations, and they have petrol stations. They're in Latvia, they're in Lithuania, Estonia, Finland, and Sweden, and now also Norway. And they decided several years ago that they would look to make less money from selling fuel and more money from selling like hot dogs and coffee and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And they made beautiful stores, but they had no baskets. There was no basket at the entrance. They had invested all this money in assortment and mix and promo and blah blah blah, and they had no baskets.
Yeah. By the way, they still don't in Latvia. Like I just think about it. Yeah, they still don't, the gas stations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but where we put the baskets, we got sales uplift, right?
Oh, that's a good idea.
It's a very small thing, but because the vision for these guys in the end was that other petrol stations refill the cars and we refill the people.
This is a good one.
We refill the people. No, really. We refill the drivers and the passengers and the car, but the car is in third place.
This is a nice one.
The people.
This is a nice one. So yesterday I was calling.
Then you need baskets, right? If you don't have the baskets, they can't refill themselves.
Yesterday at evening at like actually 10:30. So this is really late. So I was calling Levs, both of our acquaintance, and I asked him, what should I ask you? So one of the things that I found an interesting, and I want to ask you is, many people talk about strategy. You need strategy. But what are some practical steps to actually implement something, or implement the new strategy, or implement the changes in our organization? Like, what are those steps?
I mean, the best practical step is to test and test and test. You don't need to do a full launch. Just try it in one store. Try it with one customer. Try it in one situation. See if it works. So basically, continuous experimentation is the way. Because when you set the strategy will say, we do A, B, C, D, E. And you start to implement A, B, C, D, and E. You see that implementing E hurts A. Implementing B hurts D. They're not properly abgestimmt, the Germans would say. They're not tuned properly. So what you need to do is you need to implement starting with an experiment. Try it. So test the hypothesis.
Got it.
Because I see strategies, they say, let's make people shop more. Let's increase the average bill. But the customer cannot physically consume more. And you find that out when you test. Okay. So my advice would be to before making a decision on strategy, is to test with customers. Just ask them. Okay. Customers love to be asked, by the way. If it's not a stupid question like, how did we do this morning? But a real question that says, if we were to give you support, not only for your website, but also for your, IoT networks, would that be good?
Okay, that's a good one. That's good advice. Last three questions, a little bit more fun. Yes. And I want to ask you, what is some of the best book you would recommend an entrepreneur that wants to grow their business?
The best one that I've seen in the last couple of years is a book written by, I can't remember the guy's name. He's from MIT in Massachusetts in the United States. And the book is called Who Do You Want Your Customers to Become?
Okay, cool.
Who like do you want? I'll just find the 1 second. I'll just find the name of the author because it's really, really good. 1 second. Kindle. Just a moment. I'll give you the name.
I think it's Micharel Schwager.
Micharel Schwager. Yeah. Sorry if I mispronounced it. That's okay. No problem. It's SCHRAGE. Micharel Schwager.
And I'm an action taker. You know what I do right now? I just ordered the book in Amazon.
You're a star.
I'm an action taker. So next question. Maybe a movie or a TV show you would recommend to watch. So this is more fun.
You won't believe this. Can you see behind me? Books.
Yeah, I see books.
Yeah.
But no TV. So maybe there's no movie.
I don't watch video at all.
At all? Like YouTube also not? Wow.
Almost nothing.
Wow.
I read. Okay,
Wow.
but it's just my individual.
Cool. Interesting.
I read all the time. I listen to podcasts.
Mm.
I read all the time, but I don't really do much video or no interest. But I read an awful lot. So if you want, I can send you a list of 10 books that I think are really, really useful.
Yeah, if you can if you can, please do so. We will add it to the description in the video. So last one, number one business advice you would give someone if they want to grow their company.
Well, it's the same question I asked myself. Do you want to grow the company in quantitative terms, or do you want to grow the company in qualitative terms? Because I've met other entrepreneurs just like me who are not interested in the growth of numbers. They're interested in growth of outcomes for customers, for clients. So I'm not the only one. And I sense that the market share of my approach, which is quality over quantity, will increase, and the market share of quantity over quality. So the first question to ask yourself is your priority to grow in quantity or quality? It's very difficult, in my experience, to do both.
I would agree. In my thinking, it's like, okay, you can increase the number of new customers you get, or you can increase the money they spend with you. So I think the way you're talking about more is how do I increase the money that the customer is spending with me, aka how I increase the value I'm providing, right?
Yeah, well, it's actually the other way around. How do I increase the value I'm providing and then the customer is happy to pay more money?
Yeah, or staying longer if cycle or something like that.
Yes, okay. Or as I said, offering multicultural, multi-industry, options. The main thing is, if you're a consultant selling X and you're a black dog and there are lots of other black dogs, you need to be a pink dog or a pink cat. You need to need to stand out. Yeah. Because if most of them are Me Too, they die. I mean, the reason I set this company up is that the mortality statistics for small business are frightening. The average small business in the European Union only lives for 7 years, 83 months. That's it. The average person lives 80 years. The average business lives 7 years. It's crazy. Even the big corporations, the lifetime on the NYSE board is down to 12 years. When I was born, it was 70 years. So things are speeding up.
Things are changing rapidly.
Yeah. Another big challenge is going to be in Europe. Europe is going to have a very, 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 very difficult economic situation for the next, I would say, 3 to 5 years. I'm not saying we see 1929 Wall Street, but something close to it. The European economy and the European Union system, the way we know it today, is probably not going to survive. The euro will probably not survive as we know it because it's unsustainable. It's a currency with a central bank, but no Ministry of Finance. Right? It's almost destined to fail. So there's going to be. My point is, there's going to be economic upheaval, financial upheaval in Europe in the next 3 to 5 years. So whatever business you're in, make sure that you have a way to develop business beyond Europe. I don't know, Turkey, the Arab countries, Kazakhstan, Vietnam, China, India, USA. Yeah. Don't depend on Europe. Europe is going to have Europe is going to go through something like the Soviet Union went through in 1991. Something similar to that. An economic calamity, collapse. It will not be like it is today. It's not sustainable. So my advice to all of your listeners, if you're in the European Union, great. Make sure that you have a business opportunity outside the European Union, anywhere, America, Canada, Arab countries, you name it. But make sure you have a plan B beyond Europe. That's very important advice.
Cool. Garrett, thank you for your time. Thank you for your advice and lessons and insights. And I hope to see you in Riga sometime soon.
Okay, looking forward to it. Thank you very much, Nix. And
Cool.
Happy New Year to all of your listeners.
Cool.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you for joining. Let's
Cheers.
go. As I say,
Bye.
stay sharp and make a move. That's our saying.
Thank you. Okay.
Bye.
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 Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.